My father has always been against any confrontation or arguments. He is extremely passive, refuses to stand up for himself, and avoids any conflict. If someone bumps into him, he insists it's his own fault. If his employer messes up his salary, he wouldn't bother fixing it. If a mechanic didn't properly repair his car, he would just accept it as is. This resulted in a tumultuous childhood with my narcissistic mother. She controlled his every move, got him to quit his job, and do every chore. She insulted him at every step and cheated on him relentlessly. He never questioned it. My extended family tried for years to make my father leave, but he never budged. When she directed her anger onto me, my father never stood up for me. If I cried to Dad about something Mom did, he would sweep it under the rug. I joined the Air Force and got stationed far away. Therapy and amazing people helped me avoid a dark path. My mother left my father and destroyed him in the divorce. She was killed in a DUI with one of her affair partners. I took joy in hearing it took her hours to die. I'm almost 30 now, have a girlfriend who understands my family situation. I have learned to not be consumed with anger and resentment. I went to a family reunion and brought my girlfriend. My father was there. I made sure to avoid him. I heard my father talk about a co-worker's divorce. He suggested his co-worker forgive his wife and set a good example. He believed he set a great example for me. I asked if he was serious. He started to stutter. I shouted how he was a pathetic father and a coward. My girlfriend quickly took me out and drove me home. She just held me and told me it's okay. I was ashamed of how I lost it, but glad I finally unloaded. Extended family had mixed reactions. My uncle said it was time for him to hear it. My grandparents were pissed I did that in front of everyone. Over the last couple of weeks, I've learned a lot about my family. My father was an absolute asshole to his family, and that's why they treat him the way they do. I got feedback from Reddit and people questioned if my extended family contributed to the abuse. I decided to ask the hard questions. I met with my dad's brothers. Dale, the oldest, is married with 2 kids. John, the second youngest, is married with a son. Bill, the youngest, has 3 daughters. I asked about my father growing up. Dale sighed and said there was a lot I didn't know. My father was normal when he was young, shy but academically strong. Meeting my mom in high school changed everything. My father was a guiding figure for his brothers, seen as one of the nicest people. But my mother became possessive and isolated him, convincing him to give up his ambitions. Family became concerned and tried to intervene. My father lashed out and threatened them. When I was born, my extended family tried to talk to him, but he was in denial. Dale's wife had fertility issues and my mother sent cruel messages. Dale confronted my father, who justified it. Dale punched him and police almost got involved. John hated him when my mother insulted his son. Bill tried to inform my father about my mother's behavior, but my father responded with hate. My father ruined his relationship with his brothers for my mom. When she died, he probably realized it was all for nothing. This was a lot to process. My father called me about family therapy. I asked if what I heard was true. He said yes. I came to the decision that it was time to cut off my father for good. The more I learned about how he was, the more I came to the realization that nothing good would come out of having him in my life. I met up with my father one last time in a coffee shop to talk things over. I asked him one last time why. Why did he do all this? Why did he let his wife treat everyone like shit? Why did he treat his family and me like shit for her? Why did he do all this? He tried to weasel his way out, but I absolutely demanded to know. And he basically answered that it was because he loved her. Yep, it was that stupid of an answer. He loved her and just clung on to her no matter what she did. No matter how much she hurt him or others, he was an insecure man who just latched himself on the first woman who showed him attention. Even when she slowly destroyed his life, he thought it was better than trying again. I just got up and told him to fix his life, but I won't be a part of it, and I hope he has the sense to understand why. No matter how he tried to word it, I had 2 abusive parents. He didn't say anything, just stared at me, which leads to last night. I got a call from my grandparents that the night before, my dad tried to call his brothers and make peace. Unfortunately, from what they said, he did it in the most half-assed, avoidant way possible, sparing himself any guilt. That didn't go well. After recent events and old wounds being dug up, they gave him a verbal lashing that made mine look microscopic in comparison. My dad hung up and lost his shit. Decimated his entire apartment before packing up what was left and driving off. They only found out because one of the brothers came to check up on him. From what they can tell from the few texts they have, he's lost his mind after decades of shit and is driving off to the other side of the country to start fresh. Also, from the minimum communication they have with him, he's acting incredibly vile towards them, and they say he seems to be acting just like my mother. Edit. Things are progressing and spiraling very quickly, and I'm expecting this whole insanity parade to come to a conclusion within a few days at this rate. Won't make any real update until I have all the facts, but I'm just glad I made the decision to move on. For those who stuck around, I'd say it's over and about as wrapped up as can be. My girlfriend, now fiancé, and I are getting married later this year. My father is alive. He lost his shit and spiraled, but a couple of weeks later came back. His apartment obviously barred him from returning and is going after him for legal and financial damages. He has no job anymore. He is staying with my grandparents. He has hit the absolute lowest point and has finally taken responsibility for his life, his choices, and his damaged relationships. It's too late for a lot of the family, but his parents are seemingly giving some help since he's finally trying to fix things. However, the extended family as a whole has kind of blown up. My father kind of became a mascot for deeper family issues that have become worse over time. There are far too many to go over. When he finally got called out, everyone figured there was no use in ignoring everything else going on. Minor feuds have formed, some people aren't talking to each other, some have entered marriage counseling and family therapy. People don't want to live by the but-family lifestyle anymore. My fiancé and I have decided to distance ourselves. We were kind of disappointed seeing how, since her family is insanely toxic, we could lean on mine, but I've come to realize mine has far too many issues to be reliable. We have a fantastic group of friends, so we will be fine. And that's about it. I'm going to be wrapping this up and moving on to a far less bitter lifestyle. I'll stick around for a little longer to elaborate on anything if anyone wants.